This Timex 2048 was my first computer ever. It's the reason why I work in technology and why I do indeed love so much this world, even after all these decades. I was a kid when my family bought it, and it was such a joy to learn and play with. But this is a knockoff, made in Portugal, version of the ZX Spectrum. This week, Sir Clive Sinclair, the founder of Spectrum, died. And now, about this. What I have here is a Timex computer 2048. It's a computer developed by Timex Portugal, a branch of Timex Corporation, and this was entirely based on the Sinclair 2048. And it came with a capstan joystick, a Fuji cassette player, a thermal printer and a monochromatic monitor, one of those green ones. It cost my parents a fortune, and I was about 9 years old when I got my hands on it. It also came with a huge manual on how to program in BASIC. Awful, right? So that and this were the start of my journey into technology. Before that I had a very few simple consoles and games, but nothing that could actually do the same as this. Obviously, and because I was 9 years old, I used to play games, loads of them, mostly contraband, copy of a copy, and use a dual cassette player to copy them at friends' houses. The joystick was used so many times to play games that it is broken beyond repair. The printer was actually used once or twice to do some work for my father. But the QA, OP and space were the most used keys here, as you can see. With this, my parents, without knowing, kick-started my computer interest and obviously my current career. I spent numerous years playing, learning and coding on this computer, and its founder died this week. Sir Clive Sinclair is now fondly remembered by a generation of modern-day technologists and computer leaders. His ZX Spectrum, which this Timex Sinclair 2048 is a knockoff, was named for its color output, a rarity in mostly monochrome days of 1982. Yes, despite me having a monochromatic monitor at start, I then moved to a color one. As someone said on his obituary, Sir Clive's crowning glory brought not only the simple fun of gaming, but coding, programming, and the building blocks of computer science to thousands upon thousands of eager young minds, mine included. Sinclair's vision was to get a computer into every home in the UK, a tall order in the early 1980s when computers were synonymous with room-sized beasts in academic institutions. And I can't thank him enough. In fact, my life wouldn't be the same without him inventing the ZX Spectrum and making it available, affordable and programmable. This 8-bit personal home computer is Britain's best-selling microcomputer and was the first to reach a mainstream audience, a time where 48 kilobytes of RAM were enough to educate, entertain and raise a world of technology people. Having such a computer at a younger age transformed me, and I started to think in a different way. First, to understand a foreign language, then a programming language, and finally, how to play games. Well, not in that specific order. Today's kids have the same kind of world, but in a different way. Learning now is a gamification. English is a standard at early stage. Programming is done visually. But back then, it was the 8-bit revolution, the hope of a modern world, a breakthrough. And that spirit, I think, is not yet lost. Just change. This computer, as you can see, is now a museum piece, but I'm certain that it changed a lot of today's people's lives, as it changed mine as a kid. Thank you, Sir Clive Sinclair.